Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. Welcome to part 2 of this explanation video series on the factors of production, which is chapter number 7 of your class 8 social science textbook. I hope you've already understood the first part of this particular chapter's explanation video. Now, let's get started with part 2. We studied the first two parts of what is really required in order to start an enterprise. The third important factor is capital, which means, as I said, paisa, you need the funds for that. Now, all businesses, irrespective of whether you are starting a new restaurant or let's say starting a theater, a cinema theater, everything requires capital. That is, you need money in order to construct, get all the tools for it, employ people, market it, sell your goods, everything, right? It requires money. So we are talking about monetary resources and durable assets. That is, assets that you create. For example, if you construct a building or rent a building wherein you are opening your shopping mall, right? Or let's say a shop in which you sell grocery and vegetables, you have to pay rent. Now, that particular place has to be safe against fire, against floods. It has to be insured. You need to have it in a safe place. It should not be a place where, antisocial elements come and steal from the shop, right? So all those things have to be taken care of, and that's what makes an asset durable. Durable means long lasting, something which you can depend on. Now, what kind of durable assets that we can talk about? We have to talk about the right kind of machinery which works well, it doesn't break down, the tools, the equipment, the vehicles that you use. If you're say running some kind of vegetable shop or something, so transportation of good vegetables to your shop, away from your shop, etc. Computers, vending carts means, again, the arrangement that you have with vendors, the small sellers, shops, factories, office buildings, etc. What I just now told you. Ratna, whose example that we saw in the first part, she need money for land lease, for buying furniture, because in a restaurant you need to have tables, chairs, etc. Kitchen equipment, you need to have a computer in order to do the billing, etc. You need to hire an accountant in order to understand how the accounts are to be done. If the taxes have to be paid, you need to maintain all those accounts. Now, all this involve expenditure. You need to pay a salary, etc. So these are all coming under what is called capital. That is money plus human-made resources used to produce goods and services. Okay, let me just change the color of this one. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'll make it in white. Yeah. So all this comes under the word capital. So when you talk about defining capital in economics, any asset would mean a building, any tool, any equipment, any vehicle, whether physical or financial, used to produce goods and services. So the computer that we have that is used by the accountant, that is also something which is done by the use of capital. It's an asset, right? It's an asset because you have spent money and its work is being used in order to make your business better. Now let's come to the sources of capital. What are the different sources that are there of capital? Now, the one is the personal sources, and I'll tell you some very interesting aspects out here and you will enjoy it. Okay? And you need to understand money. Financial literacy is very important for a student in the 21st century. One, it could be from personal savings, like, okay, I need to put, let's say, 5 lakh into a particular business. I have savings of about 8 lakhs, right? So from that, I take 5 lakhs and put it directly into the business. Such particular companies are called bootstrapped. It's a new term for you. Please remember this. It may not part of your syllabus, but it works well for you to know these kind of things. That is, bootstrapped companies are those where you are not borrowing money from anyone. You are putting in your own funds. If let's say there are 3 people, all 3 put in, let's say, 10 lakh rupees, and with 30 lakh rupees, you start a particular business, let's say a restaurant or something. So you're using personal savings taken from your own savings or your family savings or very close friends, and therefore they are the first sources of funds for individuals to start a business. Like, for example, Ratna has done it like that. The second option is to take a loan from a bank. Now, a loan from a bank will be done. They will say, okay, you have a house, so you can mortgage your house, right, against the house, or you have some stocks that you have, or you have some mutual funds. So against that, some loan can be given by any of the banks. So businesses can take loans and you will have to repay it every month, right? Paying interest along with the principal. This is paid as in EMI, which is equal monthly installment. Equal monthly installment. So let's say every month he has to pay 8,000 rupees per month, and the entire amount will be repaid in, let's say, 20 years, right? Let's say, just for example, when I was buying a house, I took a loan from ICICI Bank, and I was paying an EMI of something like 15,000 rupees per month. And the whole thing was supposed to be repaid in about 15 years. But after about 5 years, I decided that I don't need to this thing. And I repaid the entire amount in one go so that I closed the loan. So there are these options that you can take loans from banks, or you can take education loans also, right? The third one is the stock market, where all you can generate capital from. Now, large companies raise money from the general public. For example, if I am a company wherein three of us have put in the money, all three of us are equal shareholders. Okay. Now we decide that we need to have more capital, more funds in order to expand the business further. We want to go to 3 more states, but we don't have the money for that. So let's raise money from the public. Now, how can you do that? You can't go to neighbors and raise money from that. You will not get sufficient money. So what you do is that, okay, each one of us who is holding 33% each, let's dilute our stake, which means, I'll explain to you in very simple terms, that let's reduce our stake from 33% to, let's say, 25%. So each one of us will have 25% each, 25, 25, 25, 75%. The remaining 25%, we will sell it to the public, and the public can buy shares. The public will say, oh, this company is doing well. If I put my money now and they will work hard, it's possible that the 10 rupees that I put now can become 50 rupees, let's say, in 3 years' time, which means I will earn 5 times the money, because these people are doing hard work, right? And you will get their money, right? So that is what is called raising money through the stock market, when you list your company on the stock market. These are technical jargon, but you just need to understand, just listen to it so that it becomes part of your mental process. So the stock market is where shares are bought and sold. For example, if I buy shares on the stock market, there is one particular company which is doing pretty well. And I say that, okay, it seems to be giving good profit. And, let's say a water processing company, or let's say railway related company. The government of India is kind of, encouraging a lot of investment in railways. So if there is a company which is making compartments or sleeper coaches, etc., compartments, wagons, etc. So that means that company will get a lot of orders from the railway ministry. So that means this company will do better. So if I buy 100 shares of it, let's say at 100 rupees, so I put 10,000 rupees in the company. But after, let's say 1 year, that 100 rupees is now worth at 2,200 rupees. So that means my 10,000 rupees has become 20,000 rupees in a matter of whatever, 6 months or 1 year, whatever. So that's how the stock market operates. The company gets my money and they can use my money to diversify, expand, do more business. So it is a win-win situation. It helps them also. It helps me also. Understood? The companies offer a share of their profits called a dividend to raise financial capital. Now, what happens is that if a company does very well, so every year, once a year or twice a year, they may announce something which is called a dividend, which means they say that, okay, if you are holding 1 share, for every 1 share, we will give you 10 rupees. So that means I will get 100 into 10, 1,000 rupees as dividend. It is an extra income. It is like a reward that the company is giving me for having invested in their company, right? That's how it works. Now, what is a dividend? An amount of money paid regularly by a company to its shareholders out of its profits. That is what is the definition of dividend. What is the definition of interest? The amount of money paid by the borrower of a loan, like when I take loan from a bank, to the lender, to the bank, for using their money for a specific interest. So some banks may charge 11% interest, some may charge 10.5% interest. That is, if you have, or 10%. So if you have taken a particular loan, on that, this particular, you will have to pay a regular interest every month. as part of the equal monthly installment. Let's now come to this fascinating concept called entrepreneurship. What exactly is entrepreneurship? It means starting your own business or creating something new to solve a problem, right? For example, I consider myself an education entrepreneur, right? That is, I am kind of, though I'm not really making big money very consciously, because I want to take it more easy and I want to provide free education. So whatever I'm doing here, I'm providing free education. But tomorrow what I decide is that, okay, I'm explaining all the chapters free of cost. Great. No cost to the student. But what I will do in order, because I'm spending a lot of my time in researching, preparing these kind of slides, recording it, editing it, publishing it, all that effort, I'm giving it free. So what I'll do is that, okay, I will prepare test papers. Test papers, I will give it for X amount of money, 150 rupees, 200 rupees. I will give all chapter-wise test papers. That will be on my website. Students can buy it for 200 rupees so that I make some money also for the amount of work that I do, right? So you buy the test papers, you use it, but you, for 200 rupees, you have not paid anything for the entire money, but you are paying just for the test papers, which are quality test papers, better than anything else that you get in the market. I will be doing that. Okay. So entrepreneurship means essentially starting your own business or creating something new to solve a problem. For example, 6 years back, I started teaching. I kind of, developed an app and all that. I used to teach a lot of children for 6 years. And then I thought, I now want to take it a little easy. I want to give it everything for free. I didn't want to charge money. So that's how you entrepreneurship. For example, there is a friend of mine. She is into filmmaking, right? Or when I used to make corporate films, you go to a particular company, they say that we want to make a film in order to launch our product or to showcase our product. You say that, okay, I will do this 15 minutes film. I will be charging this amount of money. I will hire a camera. I'll hire a camera person. I'll hire an editing suite, an editor. All that money I have to spend, but I will take a particular sum and the remaining part, what I get, will be my profit. So an entrepreneur is a person who conceives an idea. So if I'm making a corporate film, that all idea is mine. I am doing the ideating. Then I am taking the risk because it's quite possible that the film may not do very well. That risk is also there. I gather other factors of production, the capital, the funds, where will I edit, where will I hire a camera, etc., and works hard to make the startup idea successful. So this definition is important. An entrepreneur's vision brings innovative products and services to the market, benefiting society and the nation. Or I am, let's say, an agriculture entrepreneur, wherein I buy from the farmers and I come and sell it in the city, right? And I buy organic. So I say that I am selling you only organic vegetables and fruits. Or if I'm a farmer, I grow organic vegetables in my farm. I transport it to the city, and for a particular fee, I sell those vegetables. I target it to specific families. I service every morning. I will give you fresh vegetables directly from the farm at 7 o'clock in the morning to 50 families in this particular colony. Now, that is what is called an agriculture entrepreneur, right? And they also create job opportunities, because obviously I can't do everything from growing the crops to selling. No. So I will hire 10 people who will be running their autos or tempos. They will come and deliver it. Then there will be delivery people who will do that. I will have an accountant in my office who will take charge of the money that is being given in form of UPI or whatever digital payment. So for that, I'm creating jobs. I'm employing 10 to 20 different people to do these kind of jobs, and their families will be happy as a result because I'm supporting their livelihood. Then entrepreneurs derive a deep sense of satisfaction from realizing their dreams and serving people. So I am my own boss. My customer is my boss, but I am not answerable to any other person. I decide this is what I want to do, and I do it. So there is more job satisfaction. Now, what are the different jobs that are performed by an entrepreneur, right? For example, the first one is problem identification. You realize that this particular colony is not very happy with the quality of vegetables that is sold in the nearby market, because that is having a lot of pesticide smell, a lot of insecticide smell. They are not very fresh. They are more expensive. So that is a problem. So I have identified the problem. If you are asked this, you can give this kind of an example. So you identify that this particular colony where there are 50 families is facing this kind of a problem. So I first identify the problem and then I think of, okay, how can I solve this problem with a innovative solution? Then what I do, I combine various source factors of production, the land, the capital, the labor. I combine all those things plus the entrepreneurship idea, right? Then I take a risk. I go and ask them, if I supply fresh organic vegetables without any pesticide, without any insecticide smell, will you buy it on a daily basis? If I provide you at a discount and it will be home delivered every morning, fresh vegetables at 7 o'clock every morning, it will be delivered to you, right? So I'm taking a risk. So if they say yes, then I invest the money in buying land. I grow crops. I put farmers. I put the people to grow crops, take care of the crops, the godown where it will be stored. Then it will be transported. So I hire vehicles. I hire drivers to do that. I hire helpers to do that. Then I hire delivery people to go and deliver it to each and every doorstep, right? So I'm investing a lot of time. I'm investing a lot of money, right? Then the fourth point is the decision making. The entrepreneur makes key decision regarding the operation and functioning of their business. So tomorrow I decide, the people say that, no, we don't need it every day. You can give it once every 2 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, of 3 days a week is enough for us. You don't need to give this thing. So I decide, okay, if I have to do that, that means I gain because I need to operate the vehicles only 3 times in a week. I need to hire the drivers only 3 times a week. Will it work for me? Because the drivers, I may have to still pay 30 days of the month. So what will they do the remaining 4 days of the week? So can I expand to some other area? So, okay, these people need it only on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. What do I do on Tuesday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday? I give it to another area. So you basically decide on these kind of ideas that, okay, this is how I optimize. I make full use of all the resources that I have. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. Then there is a social contribution, which are the fifth task, wherein I'm contributing to the welfare of the society. How are you contributing? Because you are providing them organically grown vegetables which do not use any pesticide or insecticide. So their health will improve. They don't have to go to the doctor. So they actually stand to gain. They will all look more healthy because of the trust they have in me that I am providing them with organic vegetables. Is this clear? I hope so if you get this question, please use this example so that it becomes more easy. And I'm telling this to you in all confidence. Your teacher will be impressed with this kind of original examples that you provide. So what is the definition of a startup? Now, what is a startup? A startup is an entrepreneurial venture with limited resources, because a startup is always starts small. You don't have major resources, right? You don't have you can't put in all your money into it. Your family and friends may not give all their money to you. So it will start small with limited capital, right? But you work hard. You give it your 100% time. For example, I'm recording this video on a Sunday morning. For me, there is no Saturday, no Sunday. I work 7 days of the week. I do my work. I do other works, non-teaching work. Plus, I take out time to do this. So for me, there is no Sunday. My relatives all complain that, what is this? You're also working on a Sunday. There is nothing like a Sunday. Yes, if I feel like if there is some other work, I can always stop this and go and do that work, because I'm my own boss. I run my own startup, right? So I can decide I'm doing all the 5 subjects for class 7. I may decide for class 12, I will do only English. I will not do the other subjects because I can't take on so much of work on myself, right? So, or if I decide I'm getting 2 more teachers, so they will teach maths and physics for class 12, right? So I can look at expansion. So it all depends on how you plan this entire thing and leveraging technology. Now, technology allows me that you may be sitting, I may be in city X, you may be in city Y, you may be in city Z. So it does not, in a physical tuition, you have to go to somebody in your neighborhood. That particular tutor may or may not be very good, but you are forced to go there because he's the only one, he or she's the only one near your house within 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer radius. But you are now able to connect to me. What are the advantages? You don't have to step outside your house. You can see the same, you miss a class, you cannot ask the tutor to explain again. But here, you can listen to this video anytime. You do not have to step out of the house. Number 3, it's free of cost, right? So everything works to your advantage in an online setup like this. Let's take the case study of this great man called J.R.D. Tata. Now, he was a person who dreamt big. Jahangir Ratanji Dadabhai Tata was one of India's greatest entrepreneurs. He started well, but later on, when you become big, you become an industrialist, right? He played an important role in building modern India. Born in 1904, he became the head of the Tata Group, which is one of the most respected industrial groups in the country. His philosophy was his businesses should not be only about making money, but also help society. That is what I believe. That if I am teaching, I want to teach for free. Yes, for a small cost. Obviously there is a cost. I have to pay internet charges. I have to buy new phones. I have to buy a new laptop. I need to hire an editor if I want to edit something better, right? So all that also costs money. Plus there is my own time and investment that I'm putting. So if I charge something like a 200 rupees for entire subject papers, it's still cheaper compared to what you get elsewhere in the country, elsewhere in the neighborhood. You go to a tutor, that person will charge you something close to 30,000-40,000 rupees per year, right? This is coming to you for 200 rupees a year. The rest of it is all free. So you have to look at it like that. So you believe that it is for a larger cost. I'll tell you something how I got into teaching. You know something? 2019, August, 25 students killed themselves in Telangana because they failed in the Telangana class 11 and 12 examinations. The three subjects in which they failed were English, Maths, and Economics, right? So what I and my wife did was we recorded the entire English syllabus for class 11 and 12, State Board Telangana, in simple Telugu and simple English. And we put it out free here on YouTube. Then the government took our videos, they put it on Doordarshan, they put it on their website. And during the entire COVID pandemic, students were learning from our videos, right? You did it absolutely free of cost, so that it helps 10 lakh students, 5 lakh in class 11, 5 lakh in class 12. That is what is called business. Is not just about making money. It's also about doing something good for people. And then I got the idea that, okay, I can teach more students, ICSE, ISE, CBSE, you can teach more students and help many students, which is why when students tell me they are from Srinagar, they are from Dubai, they are from Thiruvananthapuram, they are from Kolkata, they are from Shillong, listening to my videos, it gives me a lot of satisfaction and happiness. Okay, now what are the key contributions made? He started India's first airline called Tata Airlines. Of course, now the Tata Group owns Air India also. In 1932, it later on became Air India after India became independent and took it over. Expanded the Tata Group into, now Tata makes salt, Tata makes, Tata Power, Tata Chemicals, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, all the Indica cars are all made by Tatas, Tata Nano. Then you have, it's there in the defense sector also. So Tata Group is there in almost so many different sectors in the country. He's known for his caring about his workers, providing good working conditions, man of vision, hard work and honesty. He received the Bharat Ratna in 1992. Now let's move to technology, about which we studied briefly in the first segment also. Technology, if you have to define it, means the application of scientific knowledge. These days you are using artificial intelligence extensively. Now, for example, a camera, like a mobile camera, you're getting the best quality cameras now. In your mobile phones itself, it converts light into electrical signals in order to create a digital image. Like I'm recording this on my laptop, right? I'm able to do so and reach out to so many students at the same time. Now, any production related activity uses some form of technology. It could be Ratna's restaurant because she will need to use a computer in order to create bills and do the accounting, etc. more efficiently. She can't be doing handwritten stuff anymore. So some early forms of technology from ancient times are still in use today. For example, Bahi Khata, etc. Some people still do it. But there are more newer and technological developments which are applied in various areas which make life easier. For example, UPI for payment. Earlier, you had to go and give physical money, or you had to deposit a check in the bank, or you had to create a demand draft, or you had to send a money order. Now with UPI, anywhere in the country, you are able to send money immediately clicking a couple of buttons. You get advanced weather updates. You know that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it is going to rain heavily. There is a weather forecast guy who makes such precise. He will say at 8:15 p.m. it will start raining in this area. Lo and behold, it actually starts raining at 8:15 p.m. in that area, right? That is because you have advanced weather forecast because of the satellites in the sky. It helps agriculture. A farmer will know that in this month, on this day, it will rain heavily, or it will not rain till for the next 15 days, right? when you go from place A to place B, it is all by GPS, which tells you turn left from the next intersection, take a left turn, take a right turn, take a U-turn, everything, right? Old technology, otherwise you have to keep asking, stopping and saying, wo market kahan padega? You have to keep asking. You don't need to do that anymore, right? So old technology keeps getting replaced by newer technology, right? And it helps businesses do better. Email, for example, now no, very few people write letters. You send email, right? Instead of email, even email has got outdated. You send WhatsApp messages, right? So everything keeps getting updated because of new technology which is coming. But it does not mean every old technology is replaced. For example, pulley. If you have to draw water from a well, you still use that rope and the pulley in order to draw water from a well. You want to transport coal from one place to another, you will still use that kind of implement in order to transport from place A to place B. So certain old technologies are still used, but many of the things, new technology has come and made life easier. Now, technology paving the way for accessing knowledge, skills, and job opportunities. What exactly does it mean? Now, there are many online courses where you can learn. For example, there are courses. I attended a course on artificial intelligence about 10 days back, right? In which they taught about different kinds of new apps and new websites which are using AI, which you can use to make your teaching process that much easier. For example, platforms like Swayam, which is study webs of active learning for young aspiring minds. That's the acronym of the acronym is called Swayam. It offers free, massive, open online courses for grade 9 upwards, where learners can learn new subjects like robotics, aquaculture, textile. So I'm interested in aquaculture. Aquaculture is where you grow prawns and shrimps, etc. It happens a lot in coastal Andhra Pradesh. I've done a lot of reporting on that. So aquaculture, it's very, very vulnerable to diseases, etc. So they have to be very careful with the saline water which is used. Fresh water which is used. The saline water is, I mean, it has to be the right kind of mixture. It should not get mixed too much. Or robotics or textile printing. Benefits like students can learn at their own pace from anywhere. They can be doing a job, they can come back in the evening and they can attend a session on robotics or textile printing. Then you also have online job portals, like this girl is looking at her laptop and learning about different job opportunities. There's a national career service which helps find jobs opportunities across various sectors, from plumbing to accounting. For example, you have a company like Urban Company, which has recently got listed in the stock market, right? So Urban Company, you want a plumber or an electrician or someone to come and clean your washrooms or do pest control. You call them, you pay the money through UPI. They will say, okay, on Monday between 8 and 9 a.m., he will come and do the rest of it. If you are not happy with the service, you can raise a complaint and they will send someone else to rectify it. So all those things can happen, right? All those things can happen. So many of these online services are pretty much a reality of life, especially in urban India. Technology has eliminated geographical barriers, which is what I told you. My students are from Shillong, from Thiruvananthapuram, from Ludhiana, from Srinagar to Surat to Rajkot to Mumbai, everywhere, right? Providing access to knowledge, skill development, and jobs in India and abroad. How are the factors connected? Now, how do you kind of combine and what is the proportion? Now, land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, technology. These are the 5 things that you require in order to produce the goods or to provide a service. These 5 things you need to remember very clearly. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and technology. You can remember it as LLCET. LLC. 2LCET. That's how you remember it. So proportion of each factor depends on the specific product, right? So if it is a labor intensive, where you need to put in a lot of labor, like agriculture or in construction industry or in handicraft, making handicraft, so they are relying more on labor and less on technology, right? Capital is not, it's not so capital intensive, though construction will need a lot of capital. Similarly, capital intensive industry like semiconductor chips or making rockets or making satellites, they need a lot of money and specialized machinery and also technology, right? Then complementary and interconnected nature. These factors complement each other, means they support each other and are interconnected. And if one of these factors is missing, it can create problems for the entire goods or services. Right? For example, if you see example one, increased machine use in agriculture can lower dependence on labor. For example, if you buy a tractor, you need not use cattle, you don't need ox, you don't need to have a farmer doing it. One farmer sits and does the entire tractor in a more efficient manner. Similarly, if you want to kind of sow seeds, you can use a drone, right? Instead of people sowing seeds and you employing 3-4 people, you use a drone. So with one drone operator, the drone can go and sprinkle seeds everywhere and the sowing process can take place. Drone, you know what it's like this, it goes and it keeps going like that. So you can do. So technology can actually help you do that. Then 3D printing. If you use 3D printing, it gives you the image of not just a 2D cardboard image, but something which gives height, depth, width, etc. So 3D printing can help revive dying art forms in textiles by producing handloom products at a large scale. Then geographic interconnectedness and supply chains. Now, production inputs are available at different geographical locations, allowing businesses to procure and combine them. That is, that I can get a similar service even in a small town. So if you don't have to send, for example, you are in Mumbai and you are going to a small town, but you don't know whether that facility is there. But now with different facilities being available, it just makes it easier for you to do business even in small towns. This provides businesses with access to varied inputs. For example, let me say there is an electrician in a small town. Okay, now he will think I am not getting business. But then if he ties up with a urban company kind of a thing, then they will say that, okay, any business that comes for an electrician, any work for an electrician that comes in that town, we will route it to you and he makes a lot of money, right? So that's how you are able to kind of leverage your skills. You are able to make use of skills in order to earn more money, right? Production activities can face severe supply chain challenges. For example, you are a farmer, you are procuring tomatoes from a particular area. But in that area, there have been, let's say, some communal riots and there is a bandh in that area. So the tomatoes supply cannot happen because no vehicles are being allowed to ply. Now, that is what is called a supply chain challenges. So if there are no tomatoes being supplied, you cannot supply to those 50 households, right? So those kind of challenges can also be there and you have to work around your way in order to ensure that these kind of things are met. So what is the definition of a supply chain? Supply chain is an entire network of individuals, organization, resources like tomatoes from the farmer. It comes to the vehicle, which is to the driver will collect it, the helper will take it, and then it has to transfer to the city. From the city, it is to be delivered to each home. So this is the entire supply chain where there are different people, the delivery boys, the vehicle driver, the vehicle helper, the farmer, everyone is part of the supply chain and you use it and somebody will be tracking it through GPS. Okay, the vehicle has come 30 kilometers, another 20 kilometers to go before it reaches destination. So somebody will use GPS in order to track the vehicle's movement. So supply chain disruptions can occur when relying on far-off sources instead of local inputs, leading to a halt in production. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, things were stuck. So you are not getting things on a regular basis. So whenever something like this happens, a pandemic happens, a strike happens, a bandh happens, riots happen, or some area is flooded, or some area, some earthquake has taken place. So you don't get what is to be sent from that area. Now, as far as India's mobile phone manufacturing, this is another big example. India is projected to be the world's second largest mobile phone manufacturer after China in 2025. Now, you see, India has been saying make in India, and Trump has been saying that, no, you need to make in America, right? So make in India is that we want mobile phones which are bought in India to be made in India. Why should they be made in Korea? Why should they be made in China? Why should they be made anywhere else? For example, if you go to the garment stores in UK, etc., you will find a lot of hats, clothes, etc., which would be manufactured, where Sri Lanka or Bangladesh. But now India is also providing a lot of competition to that. So the process of mobile phone assembly is that the technology is developed that, okay, I have this mobile phone, I will introduce these features which were not there in the previous mobile phone. So the R&D means research and development team it will come up with new features. Then you will acquire the raw material in order to make that phone. Then you need to buy land and set up a factory, construct a factory wherein all these workers will sit there, and you need to provide the condition, the air conditioning, the tables, the chairs, the machinery, everything in order to manufacture the mobile phone. Then all these components and the software will be there. So somebody, you need technically superior, skilled people who will know how to use the software, who will know how to assemble a mobile phone. Then that mobile phone has to be tested, whether it is actually working well, whether there are any problem areas, whether the quality is good, whether the battery is getting very hot, whether the battery, you said that I want a battery to survive, remain without charging for 24 hours. But you find that the battery is getting discharged in 15 hours. So that means there is a problem. So again, you will have to go back to R&D, to the start button, and see where it has gone wrong, what needs to be done to correct it. So that is the entire process. Then once all that is streamlined, then you go in for mass production. We will produce 2 lakh mobile phones every month from this factory. So you do this mass production, and then you distribute it, you sell it to retail stores. So at every stage, you need human effort. Every stage, you need human effort for designing it, for research, for development, for supervising it, for testing it, for improving it. You need human thing. AI can help you, but you still need human intervention to see, okay, you can say AI, these are the parameters, these are the conditions that should be met. The machine can help you, but even then the human should be there, because a machine is a machine after all. So human intervention effort is always required. So software, electrical, mechanical engineers, along with project managers use their expertise, who are trained to do this job. The entrepreneur provides guidance, he provides funds, etc., for how to make best use of the resources. Then he will get the land, the factory space, whatever permissions are needed from the government, the machinery that may have to be imported, then employing skilled workers. You need to arrange the finances for all that, to pay their salaries, to buy the machinery, etc. And all these inputs are essential, and they work together like puzzle pieces to create goods and services. See, what I know, a lot of this, if you understand this well, no, I will give you test papers so that you know exactly how to write the answer, right? So that is what I will do next. So everything will be taken care of. Don't worry. Then the last two things, the responsibilities towards the factors of production. The first one, what we saw, natural resources, that you use natural resources like land, water, minerals. These are limited resources, and they can be harmed. So you don't kind of pollute an area. If you pollute an area, that means you're making that land unusable in the future. So you should not do that. So you should be very careful. So based from leather factories in Tamil Nadu, or you go and see the Ganga in a city like Kanpur, it is so polluted, right? So you need to ensure that you are not polluting the lakes and the ponds and the rivers in your area. Or if you release the waste into the sea, that means you are killing the fish which is there in the sea. Then improper recycling of old smartphones. You cannot just throw a smartphone into outside. You need to be responsible, because it contains batteries which are all non-recyclable. So you need to be very careful when you are disposing of any electronic good, because they will have lithium, lead, mercury, etc. And if it goes to the ground, you are only leading to groundwater pollution, right? And it will affect humans, animals, plants, everybody. So producers must ensure that they use natural resources in a very responsible manner. They cannot be irresponsible about it. They cannot cause pollution. They need to protect the environment, and they need to ensure that they follow sustainable, means responsible practices which sustain the ecology and the environment, in order to ensure that you can use all these natural resources for a longer period of time, even the next generation or the generation after that, right? Then the second one is workers and employees, that you need to be humane towards workers. You cannot treat them like servants just because you're paying them a salary. In return, they are doing work for you, right? So fair compensation. So if somebody is doing a particular work, which is a skill job, you need to pay the right kind of salary for that, right? So that is very important. Then and a safe working environment, that they should be safe while they are spending that 8, 9, 10 hours in that office. Then you should also ensure that you train them to get better, because if somebody comes and does not get trained, means after a while technology will make that person redundant, means useless. So you need to send that, okay, your technology has got outdated, but I will send you to this place, to another country or another state to get retrained, so that when this new technology equipment comes, you can use that equipment so that you don't lose your job. So that is how you retrain. So that is what is needed from an entrepreneur. So businesses should invest in training and education to help workers remain competitive. Then workplace rights and protection, that is, all the labor laws have to be followed. There should be no discrimination between worker A and worker B. They should be provided with insurance, provided with health care. They should be provided so many days of paid leave. It's not like, if you take 10 days of leave, I will cut your salary. No, he is entitled to, let's say, 20 days of leave or 30 days of leave, depending on whichever industry is there. Then finally, we come to corporate social responsibility, what is known as CSR. Now, all businesses are motivated that you need to give back to society. Like, for example, I go to a school and I teach for free, which is a government school where there are schools which do not have proper teachers or not well-trained teachers. So you go and teach some subjects free of cost, because it is giving back to society, because those students cannot afford to go to a private school and get better educated. So you provide them with quality education. So that is like social responsibility, that you're giving back to society. Or you go and plant trees. You kind of reduce the pollution in that area. You improve the environment of that area. So all this comes under CSR activity, or corporate social responsibility. So this is for the well-being of local communities. Or you say, okay, on this Sunday, we will go and clean the Marina Beach in Chennai, right? Or the Juhu Chowpatty Beach in Mumbai, right? We will go and remove all the garbage. We'll clean the entire place. We are not charging money from the municipal corporation for that. This is like we giving back to society by cleaning the entire place. Treating customers with respect, treating fellow employees with respect, that's very important. So India's CSR law was, India was the first nation in the world to enact a corporate social responsibility law in 2014. And according to this law, companies had to spend 2% of their average profit. So if I made a profit of 100 rupees, I need to spend at least 2 rupees of that towards CSR activity, towards corporate social responsibility. So I can open a school, or there is a government school which is in very bad condition. I say that, okay, out of my corporate social responsibility fund, CSR funds, I will give you 10 lakh rupees to rebuild and repair the entire school, right? So I will do that as part of my CSR fund. So they have to spend 2% of their average profits of the last 3 years on CSR activities. With this, we have come to the end of this particular chapter of economics as part of your social science textbook. It's an important chapter, lots of aspects in it. As I said, I will prepare a test paper on it and I will put it on our studywithsudhir.com website. Please do have a look at it. I'll tell you when it is ready. It will take a little while, only after I finish all the chapters. But it will really help you prepare better and knowing exactly how to answer different kinds of 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, 4 mark questions. Okay, I hope this is clear. I have spent a lot of time and effort in preparing this and teaching you this particular chapter. Share the video with your friends, with your juniors next year, and definitely subscribe to CBSE with Sudhir if you have not already done so. Also press the bell icon so that you get an indication when the new video is posted. Tata, bye bye, namaskar.